Hey guys, it's Hannihr here. I'm doing the addiction video part 2, which I promised a few weeks back. I'm sorry it's so late, I'm quite busy. I'm going to talk to you very briefly about the self-determination theory, which is going to explain to you why Lotro and other online games can be so addictive. And the reason I did this research is because in my last video I didn't really cover upon scientific study. I only looked at certain steps to stop yourself getting addicted. So I suggest you look at that video before you get onto this one. I'll try and keep this as short as possible. The self-determination theory was created by Richard Ryan and Edward Deci back in the 70s. It was developed in the 80s and then progressed through the 2000s. It's a great theory because it does touch upon why humans get addicted, why people are motivated in certain things, which can then lead to addiction. So, if, let's say, I just want you to imagine that you are a game developer. You get paid by the people who play the game. Now, it's important that people who play the game want to keep on playing, because the longer that they play, statistically speaking, they're more likely to pay money, and those who really love the game and get addicted will be paying and be subscribers for potentially the next 10, 20 years or such. So you want to make this game as addictive as possible, as rewarding to the brain as you can. So if you are a game developer, you do a lot of research and you'd understand why is it that people want to play games. What really gets them ticking. So I put my little game developer hat on and did some research and looked at the self-determination theory. And there are 3 components to this theory which really explain why people get addicted to Lotro and why I personally got addicted. It looks at relatedness, autonomy, and competence. So relatedness is the ability to relate to other people, your relationships to others in the game. Let's say in Lotro, if we bring this back to the game, you can interact with people in your kingship, fellowship, raid, world, chat. You can pretty much always have some kind of communication with somebody else who plays the game. It's even catered to talk to people via microphone, almost to allow it to be more real. Many programs are designed so that people can talk in the microphone whilst they play the game, so it's clear, so raids can be better established. Essentially, relatedness is a strong concept within Lord of the Rings Online, and one of the components in self-determination theory. The next is autonomy, the ability to have control over your own fate. In Lotro, you have direct control over your character. If you want to move it forward, left or right, if you want to go to a different area, if you want to get it to, I don't know, do whatever you want, you have utter control. Nobody's there telling you to go left or right. And therefore, you do feel like you have control. And that's something which can be quite attractive to a player. The third part of the theory, in self-determination theory, is competence. Competence is your ability to master a skill. So let's look at, I don't know, playing the keyboard. Your ability to play it well is very pleasurable because it means that you've accumulated a certain skill over a period of time, and it's allowed you to get better. And then your skill is obvious and you can show it off. In Lotro, if we're going to bring it back to the game, you literally do accumulate skills over time. So the more you play, the more your level goes up. So not only do you get higher levels, which is a certain skill in itself, you also physically get a skill. So you can press a button and then that will do something more or less damage to a mob. So as a game developer, I'm very happy to look at this theory and go, yeah, these things seem to motivate people. I'm going to put as much of it into the game as possible. So that's why we have kingships, that's why we have fellowships, that's why it's a multiplayer game and you're not just soloing around. Also, you can get very competent. You can get people who can do almost impossible things, such as getting to rank 15 in the Eton Wars, which is the player versus player arena. And that's extremely hard to do. That's years and years of effort. Nobody can do that in a year. That's 5 or 6 years of effort. And also the autonomy. You have control of yourself, which is quite nice. You can make as many characters as you want and you can make them do whatever. You literally become your character. You put your thoughts and emotions, and sometimes people refer to the characters as me or I or, you know, myself. And that's basically why Lotro is so easy to enjoy, because you are motivated to constantly play. You're constantly achieving, and it's great to be around your friends whilst you do it. Now that we know why people get the need to play, why people get motivated to play, we need to deconstruct it and almost reverse it so that we can not get addicted to playing, because constant motivation to do something, where when you really want to do it, can lead to addiction. Especially when it's something that isn't necessarily a substance, when it's something that actually takes some thought, like playing an online game. So if we were to deconstruct this, we could say, okay, well, in real life, and we know that Lotro isn't real, although it is, I suppose, an illusion, we don't actually relate to other people in the game how we would in real life. We don't communicate to someone who's standing next to us, we communicate through someone via a screen. And that isn't as lovely as meeting someone in real life and going, hi, how are you, I'm whatever, and just becoming friends and having a good, strong foundation of friendship that you can continue into later life. I find that if you are addicted to an online game, you're robbing yourself of the years where making friendships is so important, because you're learning how to be a good person, how to relate to others, and these friendships will last you, until later life. Now, going to competence, yes, you can accumulate skills, but the skills that you accumulate have a level. They have a limit as to how many skills you can get and how good you can get at using these skills. Whereas in real life, your ability to enhance a certain skill is almost infinite. You can always accumulate more and more and more. You can always get faster at something or better, usually to a certain limit. So technique in real life is more important than, let's say, technique in Lotro or an online game. Furthermore, autonomy. You don't really have fate of your own character. And though you have the appearance of being able to move left and right, you can't jump higher than a set amount. You can't go past the map constraints. You don't really have fate. You don't have your own control. You have the appearance of a massive area that you can go to, when actually, in theory, you could go to all of it and then you're done and then you have nothing else to do. What I'm trying to say here is that although it does appear that we can get motivated to play this game, it's not as real as it can be in real life. So this is where you need to motivate yourself to not play. You need to go against what the game developers want, and you need to find that your relationships in real life should be more important than the ones in the game. You should find that your control over yourself should be greater than your need to play the game. So your ability to say, nope, today I'm not going to play, and I'm going to go and I'm going to meet some friends, or I'm going to boss this essay that I need to write. Whatever you do, it's got to be more important than your appreciation of the game. And you also need to realise that let's see, I've done autonomy, I've done competence. Oh yes, sorry, a new competence. You need to realise that your skill in Lotro is at a set point and you'll never go past it. And though you probably will never reach the point, let's say in real life, although it's unlikely you'll actually reach the set point in Lotro because they make them so far away, you don't really accumulate any positive skill from Lotro, which you can get in real life. So I hope you guys have understood what I've been trying to talk about here. I'll do another video soon on addiction. I'm not sure what I'll look at yet, but essentially in this episode I've covered scientific theory that should help you understand how the game is motivating you to stay and how you can motivate yourself to go. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and keep your eyes out for the next one. If you are addicted to an online game or what have you, please comment below and I'll do my best to reply as soon as possible. Okay, thanks guys.